Before I get into this video, I did want to make mention real quick because what I'm about to say may hit some people wrong and they may feel some type of way with what I'm getting ready to say about Miss Sharon Woods, Saiko Woods' wife. And some people may think that, she shouldn't be attacked. And I want to state my case and why I think that she is responsible with Saiko's behavior as well, because she fuels that behavior because of the support that she shows him. Now, you may not always see Sharon, but she is behind the scenes fueling that behavior, never correcting. And the reason why I know she's never correcting, because she's always in the comment sections applauding and supporting everything that he's doing and saying. And you'll also see in the next clip of her stating something about if you're loyal to us, then you won't have to worry about us exposing you or telling your personal business. You'll hear Saiko read some sort of a statement talking about it. And my thing is, Sharon's been married to Saiko for over 20 years. I believe 25 years, if I'm not mistaken, but no less than 20. And she has done nothing to correct his behavior. Now, I feel like if she was appalled with his behavior and she tried to correct Saiko, but Saiko wasn't correctable, I would think that she wouldn't be in the comment sections. She wouldn't, you wouldn't see her on the live or any of his videos, because I know I wouldn't be. If my husband behaved like that and he refused to change his approach and the things that he does and says, y'all wouldn't see me. Y'all probably would forget that he was even married, because I would be so backed off from what he was doing. But no, she's in the comment sections applauding him and fueling that behavior. And it seems like she does nothing to correct him as his wife. And, she hasn't grown as a person. You would think, okay, if she was younger, sometimes we get in our delusion and we just don't know how to approach things. But as we get older, we start to change. We start to get some wisdom, and we have the aha moment. I'm not supposed to be acting like that. He's not supposed to be acting like that. We're supposed to do something different. But no, she stays exactly the same. And at what point does she get accountability for her part in this? At what point? I understand some people are like, oh, she's a victim of Saiko just like everybody else. And maybe to some level that's true. But at what point does she have to take accountability for her part in his behavior? That's my question. That's my question here. Why? Why is she off the hook because of that? So, she's old enough to know better. Like I said, she's in my age range. We're not, we haven't just been born. We've been here a little while to know better. And she does nothing to slow that man's travel at all. He just keeps traveling fast, and she does nothing to adjust the speed. So that's all I have to say. Now, I am a correctable person. If you guys think I should look at it in a different way, please let me know. Put it in the comment section and be like, hey, maybe you should look at it from this angle. And hey, I will apologize in future videos. I will be a little less harsh. But in how I see things, she's not that much better than Saiko, in my opinion, the way I see it.
I said, my wife Sharon said it best. Quote, "We can be trusted until you prove you can't be." I'm going to say that again, because that was just straight up. As a matter of fact, I got to give her a horn. I'm sorry, y'all. I know I'm being biased. Yeah. She said, "We can be trusted until you prove you can't be." And I said, you see, folks, when it comes to friendship, my wife and I will always strive to be loyal to those who are loyal to us. But make no mistake about it. The nanosecond or the moment you betray us and or foolishly attempt to publicly destroy, discredit, defame, slander, misrepresent, or maliciously lie on us because you'd rather defend wickedness, sin, evil, or prefer to be down with the mob, or sit at the theological cool kids table than to be a person of integrity and stand with those who love and protect the innocent and others who stand for truth, then all bets are off. This is why I will always, and I have always in all caps, this is why I will always defend my name, reputation, character, ministry, and those of my family who God has entrusted me to protect, not just in the physical realm, but the spiritual and social media realm as well. You may not care or like when I publicly drop receipts on phonies and pseudo-Christians, but I really don't care. What you might want to do is ask yourself, what made or caused Seikko to do this? I'm glad you asked. See paragraph number 1. And I will continue whenever necessary to red dot anybody that we believe, my wife and I believe, can't be trusted. And so far, by God's grace, we haven't been proven wrong. So far, we haven't been proven wrong on the people whose receipts we had to drop on them because of their hypocrisy.
So I'm going to stop Seikko right there because I'm going to give him an example of something that he has done. But before I do, this part of the video is setting up everything for the later part of this video. So just please be patient, bear with me. Trust me, I'm setting up the pins and they're going to get ready to get knocked down, but I'm just kind of giving you a little bit of foundation before we roll into the other half of this video. I'm working up to it to get people up to speed so that for the next half of this video, everything is going to be making sense to everyone. But real quick, I did want to mention to those of you who have not seen my very first video about Seikko, Seikko had exposed this young lady who's not even here on YouTube, who had dated his son, and it didn't end well between them. And the young lady broke up with Seikko's son. Seikko felt some type of way, brought all the text messages that his son gave him and for all of the world to see on YouTube. And it was very personal, private text messages that you would not want everybody to see. It was about self-harming herself and inappropriate behavior. And by the way, I do have permission to talk about this situation, which I'm going to talk about a little later. And so he had no right to do that, but he was trying to get revenge on the young lady's mother because the mother posted something about Seikko and his son. Didn't name their names, but it was implied. And Seikko got upset behind that and wanted to take revenge and took it from Facebook to YouTube and just kind of just let everything fly and really, really told a lot of private things. But like I said, the young lady had nothing. She had done nothing to Seikko to deserve this. And Seikko's wife, Sharon Woods, stood there and let it all happen. And she helped. So I'm telling you, Sharon's not innocent. That lady is just, I'm not going to say she's as bad as Seikko, but I'm telling you, she's not right.
And again, I just find it rather odd. There's nobody's business that I've ever exposed that didn't deserve it. Not one. So I make no apologies of any receipt that I had to drop on a liar or a fake, phony wannabe. Not one. I have no apologies and I give none. The rule of thumb is this. Don't backstab me. Don't try to set me up. Don't try to intentionally defame me and discredit me, and it's all good.
Seikko, why are you lying like that? You know you will drop receipts and record people's phone calls no matter if they betrayed you or not. Because I'm going to play this next call of you recording someone about getting the nitty-gritty, getting all the tea spilled on this phone call. And I guarantee you, he didn't know that he was being recorded. And I also guarantee you, he didn't know that it was going to be played on your live stream. So you're not going to tell me that he knew. I guarantee you he wouldn't have talked like that to you had he known. So you're going to spill the tea when you record people. So are you telling people that you're recording them? Because see, Seikko will give the excuse, oh, I record people in case, they lie on me. I can always defend my name. But this guy did nothing to you. He's explained to you what happened. And I guarantee you that was for your ears only. But no, you put him on blast. And I know he doesn't know he was being recorded. But let's go down memory lane and see what you said. And this is going to be the first example. And then I'm going to go into the next thing that you did.
Let me cue this first one up here. Let's go.
She knows about a lot of them. In fact, she told the women, the women's group, that she's the most forgiving person that she knows. When you can walk into a room in your house and you smell butt and you see butt in the air and you can forgive your husband, that's when you know you are.
Some of you reading this are probably asking yourself, quote, I wonder has Seikko ever recorded my conversations or has receipts on me, end quote. And I have 4 little emojis with the little tape around the mouth. I'll let you guess it. I mean, I'm not using that language, but I did it in jest. I said, blank around and find out. I said, ask Brenda Lindman, April Chapman, Latanya Yarbrough, Chris K-Dub True Williams, Michael Williams, Thief in the Temple, Ricky Gantz, Ricky Caldwell, Slick Ricky's what they call him, Jason Whitaker, Dear Slowpoke Christian, Mark Montana Viking, AOG, sitting under a female, getting breastfed, Ryan. I said, ask them. They'll tell you. Hashtag Receiptology. Hashtag coming to a live near you.
So next, Seikko is getting ready to read. I believe he's reading scripture and stating how we shouldn't be lying to one another. And so I want to show you once again how much of a hypocrite Seikko is. Because the video clip that I want to show right after that is about him lying. Now, Seikko's gonna talk to us before he tells us what he said or did in this phone call, because he already knows that people are gonna call him out for lying. So he wants to beat people to the punch and say that what he did wasn't actually lying, but it was sarcasm, because his friend T-Con, I think I'm saying that name right. If I'm not, it's close to that. T-Con, he's trying to tell us that Teton, I'm sorry if I'm messing that up, already knows that Seikko records phone calls. So he says that Teton asks him, hey, are you recording this phone call? Because I don't want what I'm saying to be for public consumption. And Seikko's like, nah, man, nah, I'm not recording. But Seikko's trying to say that was sarcasm. Now, I'm going to poke holes in your story, Seikko. So you say that Teton knows that you record, right? So that's why he asked you, hey, Seikko, are you recording? Because I don't want this to be for public knowledge. Okay, he asked you that because he does know that you record. And so you did lie and said that you weren't. So I just want to, let you know that that's not sarcasm. And I know that you know that's not sarcasm. Let me give you an example of what sarcasm is. I'm going to show an interaction, a very short interaction between him and Berto, where Berto is being sarcastic because he wants to make his point to Seikko. And Seiko's even saying, are you being sarcastic, brother? Because they both know he's not timed out, but he's being sarcastic. Now, that is a perfect example of someone being sarcastic. Lying, Seikko, is not being sarcastic. Come on now. Come on now, Seikko. We're not all dummies.
Colossians chapter 3, verse 9 and 10. The word of God says, do not lie to one another. Why? Since you have laid aside the old self with its evil practices. Paul says, stop lying. Tell the truth. Be people of integrity. He says, because that's not who we are anymore.
A little longer than a few minutes later.
Is there ever a good reason to lie to a friend? Well, it's not a lie as Say does it. Let him explain.
Is that I recorded the conversation, and you will be hearing that conversation as well too. You will hear that conversation as well. And let me just say this on the outset. In the recording, you're going to hear me say, or hear him say, I hope this conversation is not recorded. And it's because I don't want this to be put out for public consumption and things of that nature. I said, no, you good. It ain't recorded. And the reason why I said that, not because I was intentionally lying, I was being sarcastic. And here's the reason why. Because the relationship that T-Time and I have, we know that we record conversations with people that may say things and may lie, or say things and they may forget, or just for the sake of protection of one's integrity and character. And so I thank God that I did record that conversation, because after what was said in the video, I have the evidence of actually what was stated and how that conversation between he and I had went. You timed me out based on a misperception.
Okay, are you still timed out?
Are you trying to be sarcastic, brother?
No, I'm being serious. No, you're not, right? Okay, then. So then we moved on from it. Why are you gonna continue to hold on to it? We moved from it.
So Seikko is getting ready to cry to all of his followers because they're not defending him on other people's channels when he's being slandered. So he's chastising them, saying that they're not being a good friend because they're not being a good flying monkey for him. I mean, Seikko, come on now. I thought you were built for this. Bruh. Why don't you go and defend yourself if it's that much of a bother to you? Stop trying to send out people like Dan and Reamer. And I'm about to get to them real soon, and I can't wait. I'm getting ready to talk about y'all. But let's move on.
Some of you have seen people slander and attack, malign, misrepresent me and my family, and you watch them and you say nothing about it. What kind of friend are you?
So next, I'm going to talk about Reamer, who is one of Seikko's friends that he's holding hostage with receipts. Now, Reamer talks about all the receipts that Seikko has on him, which, y'all, I think it's a cry for help. I think Reamer is reaching out. And Reamer, if you're listening, we're here for you, man. We're here for you. Blink twice. Let us know that you need some help, Reamer. Okay, y'all. So I'm going to let Reamer introduce himself, and he's going to let all of us know that him and Seikko go way back. Now, you're going to have to pay attention to this next clip. Now, I know the picture quality is not the best because I had to blow up the picture and it loses its quality because it was so small. But Reamer's getting ready to tell you that Seikko has receipts on him. Now, I want you to pay attention to Seikko's face, okay? So Seikko's at first, he's like listening, trying to see where Reamer is going with this. And so, as he's listening, he looks down. But as soon as Reamer talks about having some receipts on him, he looks up, blinks twice, and he has like a real stern look on his face. And then Reamer kind of makes a joke and then kind of lightens it up, and then Reamer changes it, because I feel like Reamer kind of, I think in his mind he started to think like, maybe that didn't sound like the best thing to say. And I think that Seikko didn't like him saying that because the mob already accuses Seikko of having Reamer held hostage with receipts. And so Reamer's going to try and clean it up and say, oh, but they're good receipts. I have receipts on Seikko, he has receipts on me, but they're good receipts. They're not bad receipts. Reamer, bruh, come on, man. You think we all fell off the turnip truck? Receipts does not mean good receipts. receipts are for if you're making an accusation to someone about someone, you have receipts to prove and to support what you're saying about that person, and it's not good. Or if someone's defending themselves, then they have receipts to show that. But it's not like, oh, I want to show this person's a good person. No, receipts is like, I need some proof about something to support what you're saying. But Reamer tries to clean it up because I think, like I said, he started thinking about it, and then plus Seiko's initial facial expression. But Seiko lightens up his face when he starts making a joke of it. But Seiko cannot put in his mind that Reamer is only friends with him because he has receipts on him. You know, have you guys ever saw how, like, there'll be a guy that's obsessed with this girl, a woman, and she has no interest in him, and he'll take her against her will, and he'll put her in a room, and he'll like force her to say that she loves him even though he took her. So that's how I feel like Seiko is. Seiko does not want to think that Dan or Reamer or anyone else like that is there because they don't want him to release the receipts on them. He wants to believe that they're honestly there because they're his friends. And that's what I think his thinking is.
My name is Xerix
So
Reamer.
yeah, please tell us, brother. Give your name. Go ahead.
The elder statesman of the group. I've been knowing Seikko since 2007. I've just been recently released to start doing what I did 20 years ago. So hence, that's why you see the new backdrop and all the other type of stuff.
Which looks nice, by the way. Beautiful thing.
I've been knowing Seikko for since 2007. He hasn't changed. He's been the same dude when I met him. And that's about it. I'm going to be honest with you. We talk, and I told, who did I tell this to? I told this dude, I said, Saiko Woods got receipts on me, bro. Receipts, period. And guess what? They the right type of receipts. And the only reason I know that I ain't worried about him having receipts is because I got receipts on Seikko. and we're not talking
CVS
about
party out here.
Hey, bro, we're not talking about bad receipts.
Right.
We're talking about good receipts.
Right.
But let me tell you guys why I need Seikko in my life. I need this dude in my life because I'm like this. Oh man, that chick look nice. Okay, no, I'm good. Why you good, X? Because I don't want Seikko to do an expose on me.
And vice versa.
Because if you get that iron that sharp is, I don't want to get cut by my brother because I done talked some trash. I done trashed this dude in 2012, went off with me by G. Craig Lewis, done all of this. Seiko's be like, yo, I love you, X, but if you mess up, I'm coming. I told him, I said, dude, I got all my chips in on you.
Yep.
Negro, N-word, mess up.
Yep.
I said, mess up. Now, the only reason I can put all my chips in on him because I know what he got in his deck. Both jokers, all spades, all aces and kings. He ain't got no 2 or 3. Not in his deck. So I can bank on him because I'm like, okay, all right, let me deal. Oh, you a Detroit dude. Okay, all right, let's roll. And guess what? Today, from 2020 to now, guess who right? Guess who, when April Chapman, everybody else, Mike Williams, TGOT, all of that, guess who's right? I'll wait. I'll roll him my butt off. X bet on Seikko, and guess who right? I am.
All right, so you heard Reamer say what he had to say about Seikko, but you know how Reamer said that Seikko and him go way back? See, I think, and this is what I believe, that before Reamer knew how Seikko moved with those receipts, I do believe that Reamer told Seikko some things. Something, I don't know exactly what it was, but it must be enough to make him not go against Seikko. And I think I also saw Reamer wear like a minister suit, robe before, so I don't know if he also pastors a church. So Reamer can't afford any receipts to start being let out to the public, because he has a lot to lose. And in his mind, he has a lot to lose. So he doesn't want to be on the bad side of Seikko. And like I said, I think Reamer told Seikko a lot of stuff before he knew what Seikko was about. And then as Reamer was learning about how Seikko moves, he probably also started accumulating his own receipts on Seikko. So they probably have a mutual understanding not to go against each other, because neither of them want stuff to be out in the public and in the open about them. But y'all see how he tried to clean that up? Also, he also said in the next breath about how Seikko has a good hand on Reamer, and he has stuff filed away in terms of receipts. So next, Reamer is getting ready to mention how his mentor and Seikko kind of had a fallout. Well, I don't think they were ever like really friends, but I think Reamer's mentor kind of peeped how Seikko moved and didn't like that, and he didn't think it was a character of a pastor, and he was thinking he was, confrontational, and he just didn't like his personality. So I'm assuming that Reamer relayed all that to Seikko about what his mentor said about him. And Seikko, of course, got all in his feelings and being emotional, was upset because he doesn't think that Reamer should be cool with someone who's talking about him. Now, even though they said it amongst each other, he didn't say it publicly. He was relaying that personally to Reamer, the mentor was. But Seikko's still not happy with that, because he doesn't want anyone to feel anything negative about him. And he just always wants people to lift him up and to worship him all the time, 24/7. He wants to be worshipped, and he wants no one to say anything. So people like that, people like Seikko, they want you to choose. If they have a problem with someone, if like say Seikko has a problem with someone, he wants everyone in his camp to also have that problem with that person. My former sister is the same exact way. She's a narcissist as well, but she's a different type of narcissist. You would never know it about her, because she really presents herself as a good person, but it's a narcissist trait. If they're on the outs with someone, they want everyone in their camp to be on the outs with that person and no longer be cool with them and turn their backs on them. That's how the narcissists are. They all move differently, but the end game is always the same. And so, like I said, Seikko felt some type of way, and they want you to choose. They can't handle you still being cool with someone that doesn't like them.
Hey, Xerix, have you and I have not gotten into it when it comes to loyalty? Let's get it.
Heck yeah.
Let's get it.
Hold on, wait a minute.
Fair enough.
Seikko,
Okay, fair enough.
Seikko thought that when we started going through stuff, and I go all the way back, I fell out with Seikko over Fred Price Jr.
Facts.
Because I took an apologetic approach until we had a conversation. In that conversation, he elaborated on befriending that Fred Price Jr. did to him. Then he further sent me his apologetic value by individuals that left G. Craig Lewis. Then my mentor, that if you look to the right and left, Seikko fell out with my mentor, both of it that we know that I met through him. And Seikko was like, yo, X, blah, 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 blah. So one dude that we know says Seikko is pugnacious, crazy, all of this. Seikko turned around and hit me up and said, yo, bro, what the heck's wrong? What are you talking about? What do you mean, X? And I had to clarify all that to him.
So I'm getting ready to show a clip with JP and Seikko, and I know that they had a bit of a falling out, and according to Seikko, is because he felt like JP Uncut wasn't being loyal. Now, I don't know how close of friends or how cool they were, but I know JP knows a lot of the people that are on YouTube, and like a typical narcissist, they want your full pledge of allegiance to them. And they don't want you to be friends with anyone else that they're not cool with at all. And so you're going to hear Seikko tell JP Uncut that, man, you weren't loyal. You weren't loyal. And, I understand, loyalty to people that you all have a really close friendship with. Like, for instance, if I had two friends that really didn't vibe with each other, it was just a personality clash, and they just didn't like each other just for reasons like maybe one thought the other one was selfish, the other one just didn't like how that person acted in public, or it's just small things that just made them clash. I would not be friends with both of them. The only time I would discontinue being a friend to one of them is, let's say that one friend had an inappropriate relationship with the other friend's husband. Then I would choose. I would be like, no, I'm not gonna be with the person who obviously had an inappropriate relationship with the other friend's husband, because that shows her character. So yes, in that case, yes, I would definitely choose and have loyalty. But when you have two friends that don't really get along, the best thing that you can do is you don't tell the other friend what the other friend are saying. Let's say if one person is kind of venting on how they feel about the other friend, you don't go back and forth and tell what each other are saying about each other. You just stay listening, and you say how you feel about it, or talk to them about it, and you leave it there. One thing I do like about JP, even though I don't like how JP Uncut moves, but there's a couple things I do like about him. One thing about JP, well, the first thing about JP that I like about him is that even though he fell out with Corey Minor, he still didn't tell Seikko why. Seikko is chomping at the bit to know why they fell out. So JP, on that note, I think he did good not to air out what happened between him and Corey. And so I do give him a point for that. Another thing is he doesn't make Alton choose. I'm getting ready to also show a clip of Alton Johnson where Corey and JP Uncut, they had a falling out, but Alton is cool with both of them, and neither Corey nor JP Uncut tries to get Alton to choose. Choose which one you want to be friends with, Alton. You have to choose one of us, or I'm not going to be your friend anymore. It's just really like grade school, Seikko. So anyway, I'm going to follow up with that clip of Alton. And what was the other thing I like about JP? Yeah, and JP, like I said, mentioned in my last video, I like how he stays even with his tone. But I cannot stand how Seikko has no chill. He has no chill. He's always, well, how come you're always on there? And then just ask me why. Ask me why. He can never just be calm. He has zero chill, Seikko. No control over his emotions. He can never be relaxed. Anyway, let me play the clips and we'll keep moving this on and close it out.
Because you deleted me as a friend first. I took that personal once you deleted me as a friend.
Ask me why. Ask me why I deleted you.
I know why. But
you know why? You know?
Yes, we had a little clash of differences.
What was the what was the clash? Because I just don't just put people to the side. Everything I do is for a reason. See, I take loyalty seriously, and I told you that on text messages. I told you that on group calls. I told you that on our phone calls. You weren't being loyal, bruh. You weren't being loyal. Biblically.
Listen, Corey is my guy. And what? So what?
Brother.
I'm supposed to stop liking him because you say so.
Listen. All I'm asking you are simple questions. You can't biblically define it. Then just say that. If you're biblically illiterate, then just say that.
No, because you're not acting like a man, bro.
Because hold on. So tell me what a man. Hold on. So tell me what a man acts like. Tell me. Give me manhood 101.
I'm about to tell you right now. I'm about to tell you right now.
Please, I'll wait.
JP, my guy. Corey, my guy. Both
Okay.
of those guys don't like each other. Not one of them have ever called me in private to check the other person. Not one.
Does that what that supposed to mean? Hold on, what's that supposed to mean?
No, hold on. But you who don't know me from Adam, you had no interest in talking to me at all until I had Corey on my channel.
So this is the final clip that I'll be showing about JP Uncut. In this next clip, JP Uncut and Seikko are speaking about Road Warrior. And Road Warrior is someone who has another channel. It's a Christian channel. And he and Seikko got into it some time back. And JP knew about it. And I think Christian Warrior, I think that's his name, sorry. He got up on the live stream with JP, and Reamer somehow got on the panel as well. And somehow they started talking about Saiko. Now, I could be wrong, and someone can correct me in the comments section, but I don't think that Christian Road Warrior was the first person on that panel, on that live with JP Uncut, that mentioned Saiko. I think Reamer just happened to be in the chat and got on a link and then cornered Christian Warrior, and then Christian Warrior started saying how he felt.
To say Road Warrior, you're here.
Yeah, no, I just wanted to come on because I was like hearing a couple of things because I wanted to understand because I don't know you, Reamer, but I heard you mentioning my name. So what's that about?
I guess when JP was getting at you, I was like, man, get at JP. Talbot guy. Oh, and also there's another guy that you need to go and address too, Saiko Woods.
Oh yeah, no,
you need to sit down and have a conversation with him.
I'm well aware of Saiko Woods, but I'm aware of he's a little. Well, I shouldn't say a little. He's got some issues.
And then JP text Seikko, trying to get Seikko to hurry up and come on the live because JP Uncut likes drama. He likes to stir up the drama, and he'll even tell you in this next clip that he does that. If he sees someone else talking about another person, he'll go text that person so they can come on, so JP can have drama on his live stream. And this is why I'm not really a huge fan of JP Uncut, because of how he moves, and that it's not godly. I understand you want to debate people on doctrine or other topics, but there needs to be a gentleman factor to it. There's a word for it, but I can't think of it right now. But there's a word where you still need to have some sort of politeness, respectfulness, and not be a little rat. And I'm sorry, JP Uncut, I do think you're a little rat. I think you're really sneaky, and I think you do a lot of undercut stuff. And so that's how I feel about you. I'm just being straight up so I can say it right to you, because I know you'll be watching this. But anyway, so Seikko is calling JP out. This is why Seikko can never be your boy. Never. He's nobody's friend. He cannot ever be your boy, because what he'll do when you're he feels like you're contradicting yourself, he'll go in his little file cabinet and take all those texts and throw you under the bus, just like what he did to JP Uncut. Because he's trying to show, well, you allowed Christian Warrior up there, and you text me behind the scene to come up to ambush him. But yet with Corey, you said, nah, I couldn't do that. I couldn't come up to talk to him. But JP Uncut is trying to tell him it's not the same thing, because Corey told me, meaning Corey, JP Uncut, he told me from the get-go, don't do that. Don't have Seikko come up here, because I'm not going to be conversing with him. So he probably knows how JP Uncut moves, and he let him know, I'm not doing that. Where Christian Warrior didn't think to say that about Seikko, because he didn't know he was going to be ambushed. And Reamer got up there and was being like, well, why are you saying stuff about Seikko? Because I guess maybe Christian Warrior somewhere else had said something about Seikko, about he's contentious, something like that. And Reamer wanting to get little points from Seikko for, see, I stood up for you on the live. They're such little kiss-ups.
Now, again, when you hear that, wouldn't your antenna...
Seikko, stop for a second. Did you see
stopping.
how when I mentioned that Road Warrior was smiling?
Mm-hmm.
You know, he was like, hey, like, okay, enjoying the conversation.
Mm-hmm.
And then what he does is when he starts to say he got some issues, I didn't let it ride. I said, what issues?
Right.
Go ahead, man.
Anyway, so Seiko's bringing up all the receipts of JP, and JP, I hope you realize that Seiko was never your friend. He was never your friend. For someone to do that to you shows that he can never be your boy. He can never be trusted because he's gonna dig into those text messages and throw you under the bus and try to make you look dumb. But good thing that you had a really good comeback on why you did what you did. And I see that Seiko got a little quiet when things that you were saying made sense. But you're still a drama king. You're still a drama king, JP Uncut.
Corey did a sin and Corey missed the mark.
Why are you saying missed the mark? Hold on.
Mm-hmm.
Why are you saying missed the mark? He has refused to repay. He's lying to this day, saying that he paid these people back. JP, he never paid them back. That's a lie, and you know that's a lie.
Let me start right there. So JP, let me go back to you on the screen. Corey refused to pay back the money. He lied about repaying back the money. Marcus has not paid back the money as well. So now, the concern that I have, the statement that you made was, I can't bring you on. These people don't want to talk to you, right? You said that would not be fair for me to blindside. Your word was blindside these people. Remember saying that?
Sure.
No, do you remember saying? Do you want me to play the tape back? I'm gonna make sure that you.
No. Oh, I remember. 1,000,000%.
Okay, thank you. All right, so let's go. So now, I want to see if you recall this conversation that we had. Let me go ahead and share the screen, and I believe that this is something that needs to be addressed as well too. So let me go back here. All right, JP, this is a conversation. This was dated. I think it was at. Let's go to this one. Here it is right here. Yes. This one. January 1st, 2024. Do you see your text message right there?
Yeah.
Is that you?
Yeah.
Can you read it, please?
The Sea Warrior guy is on my live stream. Want to pull up on him.
I said, stand by. What did you say?
Reamer is also here.
All right. And then I said, he's live with you. And you said, you sent me the link. Remember the link?
Yes.
Okay. This was January 1st of 2024, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right. That's the link. YouTube. Could you read your statement, please?
I am on with Reamer.
I said, give me a minute. How long you been on?
2 hours, but we're chilling.
Okay. Hold him there. And what did you say?
Okay.
All right. At 9:05, same day. What did you say?
How much longer are you going to take?
And I told you I was finishing up on a conference call. Give me 5 minutes. I said, I wish you would have told me earlier. And what did you say?
Take your time. I can hold them another 5 minutes. That's not problem. Just wanted an ETA. And bro, he showed up randomly. So I couldn't tell you.
So you couldn't tell me, right? Couldn't tell me. And what did you say?
He's talking about you now. Reamer is defending you.
All right. So Christian World Warrior is talking about me. He wasn't talking about me positively. And at 9:20.
Now let me ask you a question. Did
Sure.
Christian Road Warrior say that you're banned from coming on my platform if he's ever on?
I don't know what he ever said. I never.
Oh, brother, he didn't say it, so it's not the same as Smart Christian's channel.
I'm not saying it is at all. I'm just stating what you stated here on the text message. I'm going somewhere with this. What did you say right here?
And I'm open about that. There was a brother
what did you say right
on
here?
a live stream.
What did you say right here?
Yeah, hold on. We will stay right here, but listen to what I'm saying. There was a brother on a live stream talking about you.
Right.
And then since he was running his mouth, I told you to come on. He never told me that he didn't want to talk to you or that he doesn't want to be on the same live stream. So therefore, I'm well within my rights to tell you to come on the live stream. But in the case of Corey Minor, he did not want to talk to you. He made sure that you didn't get on when he went on. So therefore, it's not the same thing.
You don't think it's the same thing if a man was Road
No,
Warrior?
because
Was
one
he
man
aware?
said he doesn't.
Hold on. Was he aware?
One
Was
man-
he aware that you was going to bring me on? Did he know about the conversation that you and I had behind the
It
scenes?
doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter?
if he knew. Hold on, listen to what I'm saying. It doesn't matter if he knew or not because it was an open panel for all. But in the case of Corey Minor made a request not to have you on. So it's not the same thing.
So it's okay for somebody to slander somebody publicly as long as they don't want him on.
Wait a minute. There are heretics that come on my platform all the time, talk trash about people I know. I text them privately. I say, yo, this guy says that you're trash on this doctrine. And then they come on and they defend themselves. Radar's a person I've done that with. Marlon's a person I've done that
So
with.
you let people slander individuals on your channel and don't give the other individuals
There are people that talk about other people. There are people that talk about other people that I allow to go on if the particular person didn't make a request not to be on the platform with the other person. So again, it's not the same thing.
Next up is Lieutenant Dan, as Seikko calls him. Dan is one of Seikko's #1 minions. Dan will defend Seikko like Seikko is his wife or something. It's really unreal how much Dan goes to bat for Seikko. And his excuse is, oh, I'm just defending a fellow Christian brother. No, Dan, you take it to the extreme. I can understand you doing it here and there, but you've got to go to bat every time you see something unfavorable with Seikko. And you always need to get that little pat on the head from Seikko, giving you some sort of praise for doing that, because Seikko really, really enjoys seeing people defend him. And it's really, really crazy how Seikko really desires that from people. And it's really weak, Seikko. That's really a weak move. You talk about how you're built for this. Bruh, you're not built for this. Your exterior is made out of glass, and any type of pebble that hits you, it just cracks. And you really are a very weak person, even though you come off like you're not, but you shatter with just a little bit of opposition towards you. And it's really sad, actually, that how much you can't handle. People talk about me all the time, and I hear other people talk about other people all the time, and they don't respond like you. I don't care. Somebody is in their chat talking about, oh, that girl out of the wilderness, she is a Jezebel on 2.0. I mean, I don't care. So what? And if no one defends me on it, okay. But Seikko, that's all he wants. He wants flying monkeys everywhere defending him. And he wants to feel like he's got a little army going on there of Seikko defenders. And it's just so weak. It's such an unmanly move, Seikko. And nobody's telling you that. And I guess everyone's around you is too scared to tell you because your ego is so fragile that everybody has to walk on eggshells around you, and they have to think about what they say before they talk to you because you're so fragile. No one can just come out and just tell you about yourself because you can't handle it. But anyway, let me allow Dan to formally introduce himself, and I'll get back to my closing statement talking about Seikko, Reamer, and Dan, because I do want to do a wrap up of all of them. Okay, well, here's Dan.
Hey y'all, this is Dan Brown. If you don't know, I do that Gates Praise YouTube channel. Check it out. Talk about
I'm gonna show you what love is. You know what love is? I was on Dan Brown's channel earlier today. Dan Brown, aka Lieutenant Dan, out of nowhere, did a live in response to Tim Jones and his false accusations about me on his channel. I didn't ask Dan Brown to do that.
Congratulations, you played yourself.
Since I'm stupid, since I'm a dummy, since I'm a simp, since I'm a fanboy, since I'm a drunk.
Well, Dan, I'm glad you're able to admit something. So Dan, one of Seiko's fan mans, decided to do a reaction video on one of my videos that I did on Saiko. And he did it on the video called like Sinless Seiko. It was the second video that I did of Seiko. And he played the whole video and he would stop it and make his reaction, basically giving excuses for what Seiko did. I did notice though, I went to his channel and all of his exposed videos have been wiped clean from his channel. I wonder why that is, because I know I told Dan that I was coming for him, and next thing I know, all his videos are gone. By the way, Dan, did you get permission from Seiko to delete all of your videos of exposing Corey? Did you get the authorization for that through Seiko? Because I don't think he would have said that was cool. But I noticed you scrubbed everything, but that's okay. I got most of what I needed from your channel anyway, so it's cool. So anyway, I wanted to talk about how he made on a couple of his reactions. One of it was the inappropriate of me talking about how I put together exposing the explicit language that Seiko has talking about men's private areas, and he didn't like how I put it and showcased it. But Dan, let's think about this logically, because you're an intelligent man. Don't you have a high intelligent job and like you're really, well respected in it? Even if you took away what I did, my creativity of what Seiko said, what Seiko said about another man's private area or another woman's area, it would have made it just as inappropriate. But yet you don't want to comment on what Seiko did. And Dan is always talking about, because I'm a fair person, because I'm a fair person, I'm a fair person, because I want to be a fair person. He's constantly always repeating that. Dan, the last thing you are is a fair person, because you didn't say anything about what Seiko did and him talking about another man's private area and going into a graphic description of it. You just wanted to highlight that I kind of mocked it.
Yes, he has a birthmark on his butt.
Where I'm from, that's kind of gay.
Yeah, it's rewind time.
And Marcus's penis is really light, thick, and only about 5 inches.
Like, is this Christian content, y'all? The way this is put together, though?
Yes, it was his genitals. I got it.
The next video is going to be about that young girl that I talked about, and he says, oh, was that, the right thing to say, pulling the Band-Aid off of someone's pain. Dan, before you ran your mouth, I had already gotten permission to talk about her. Number one, I didn't name her name anyway, and I've talked to her mother, and I told her mom that, hey, if you want me to delete that video that I made about your daughter, just say the word and I'll delete it like that. And you know what she said to me? She told me absolutely not. And I even had that on text, but I'm not going to show it because I don't have permission to show it. But she told me absolutely not to delete that. Matter of fact, she wanted me to continue to expose that. And I'm glad she did, because it was that video talking about her daughter that I feel like changed a lot of people's minds about Seiko. So, anyway, so you may want to consider, things before you just run your mouth. I was going to respond to your little reaction video, but, it was so silly, and it didn't have any substance, and you didn't say anything that made a bit of sense, so I just left it alone.
Your son? Oh, okay. Let me go ahead and just read it then. No problem. I'll read it. Let's read how my son is a lie then, because this is the text message from your daughter to my son, admitting that she cheated on my son. This is from your daughter, right here. I wanted to call you.
Now I'm gonna stop the video right there because she had an issue with Seikko doing this, but now she's replaying it. Now she's replaying it, revisiting the same situation that she said was so harmful, disgusting, and unbecoming, right? I would have an issue doing that if that's my stance on things.
I hope this video really shows people that Seikko cannot be trusted. Because I know there's new people that probably come across his channel all the time who may not be aware that that's what he does. And I am hoping that they'll come across my channel and T-Got's channel so they will know and have full knowledge not to confide or converse anything to Seikko. You know, I think Seikko gets receipts on people for a few different reasons. One, to blackmail them to stay his friend, because Seikko is not a likable person. He's not a likable guy. And Seikko, you have to know that. There's so many people who can't stand you. And I can't, it's hard for me to imagine that you're not affected to some level about that. And maybe that's why you get upset when you hear people speak negatively about you, because I think on some level that bothers you, that there's so many people that don't like you. And I can't believe that doesn't make you want to examine yourself. Have you ever heard the term, if one person tells you you have a tail, pay them no mind. But if you have 5 people that tell you that you have a tail, then you need to turn around and look. Have you ever heard that saying before, Seikko? Well, honey, you've got hundreds of people telling you that you have a tail. You need to turn around and look, okay? I'm trying to help you. I'm trying to help you because your time is running out here, Seikko. You are in the 4th quarter of your life, bro. You're in your 50s, and God says that our life is like a vapor, and it's going to go that quick. And if you don't start turning yourself around and getting yourself on the path that leads to eternal life, you're going to end up in hell, because Satan is using you mightily. And all the people that you have that you're dragging with you, you're going to have to be accountable for them. And they're going to have to be accountable as well. Case in point, Dan. Dan that's always being your little flying monkey. Dan, I'm talking to you, bro. You need to start looking at yourself, Dan, and asking yourself, why are you always trying to defend Seikko and always making videos defending him and everyone's comment sections defending him? You know, it makes me think that maybe when you were younger, you didn't get enough approval, and maybe to some level, Seikko makes up for that by giving you that approval that you're doing a good job. But I'm letting you know you're not going to the right source. You need to go to Jesus and ask Jesus to fill you with that Holy Spirit, where you no longer have that desire to feel that approval from Seikko and people like Seikko. Because I'm telling you, his character is corrupting you, and it's slowly bringing you down and down. And it's so subtle, but because you can't understand it yet. You're not feeling it yet. And I'm telling you, Dan, Seikko is not your friend. I feel like I need to repeat that again. Seikko is not your friend, Dan. I don't care how much he tells you y'all are cool and y'all go way back. I don't know how way back, but I'm telling you, he's not your friend. He's not Reamer's friend. Reamer, I know you're listening. He's not your friend. And I'm sure you already know that, because friends don't keep receipts on each other's. friends don't record each other. Now, I understand that Seikko says, oh, well, I record in case, someone lies on me or they can't remember the conversation. So I had the recording to bring up what things were said. Okay, well, I'm going to challenge you on that. If that's the case, when you talk to someone on the phone and you want to record that phone call, you need to let them know, hey, Susie, just so we can have clarity in case something happens in the future and we forget what was said on this call, I'm going to record this phone call. Is that okay with you? And then she can choose to continue with that conversation with you, or she can get off the phone. But you don't call someone and record their call, or when they call you and record their call. Now, you may say, oh, well, in the state of Texas, that's not illegal. And hey, maybe that's true. But just because you can doesn't mean you should. Because we're not supposed to be of the world. We're supposed to be following what God wants for us. And I know that God would not want you to be doing that to fellow believers or to anyone, unless there is a very, very, very good reason for it. And you never have a very good reason for it. You just do it because you have to blackmail people from telling other people about you. And I think that's another reason why you build your little receipt file, because you don't want people to tell other people about how contentious you are, how much of a bad person you are. You need to keep that hush hush and make sure nobody finds out about that. And that's your way of keeping them quiet. So I'm letting you know that Seikko is nobody's friend. And I hope people that follow you closely, Saturn Warrior, who else is there? Taz, all you guys, stop being all pressed about Seikko. He cares nothing for you guys. And that's another thing with Seikko, and especially with Dan. Seikko knows that Dan has some emotional thing going on with him, and that there's something that Seikko does for Dan that he latches on to. And I'm telling you, narcissists will study their prey and their victims and see where they're weak at, where they're not weak at. And so Seikko knows how to play Dan and Reamer. He knows how to do everything because he studied them. And so I'm letting you know he's not your friend. And I don't know if you have some sort of lack of self-esteem, Dan. And I'm not trying to put you on blast, but it just seems like you're not happy inside. And I'm telling you, you're not going to find your answer in Saiko Woods. I'm telling you, he's not your friend. And Reamer and Seikko aren't friends either. I don't care how much they try to make it look like they're good but long-term buddies. Seikko is nobody's friend.